Okay, welcome everyone to another sponsor streams episode. We're gonna have today Marcelo here as your host, Michelle as well, another student from sponsor, and we are gonna have the pleasure to have Mike Hafner here with us as our guest. Mike Hafner is uh, an ex vice president at Southwest Airlines. He has been with them for over 30 years, so he has a lot of good experience. We already have learned a lot from him, and I'm sure you that are watching this will also learn from him. He's also a Gallup certified strengths coach, and we are so excited to have you today, Mike.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite and look forward to talking with you guys. So appreciate that.
Yes, yes. So let's get started. To get this started, Mike, we want to learn from you. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey at Southwest Airlines?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I was blessed I started at Southwest a long time ago. They were 10 years old as an airline. So, and they turned 50 years old next year. So, back in 1981, I was there for about 36 years and very blessed to be at that airline because it fit very well with the way I like to treat people and the way I like to lead. And so it was just a blessing. Started back there part time, loading airplanes in Austin, Texas. So it was a young company, more of a family environment. And so we just grew and I was able to move around and move up into leadership and take on greater roles. And, as you mentioned at the end, I was spent about the last 10 years as vice president there. But I tell you, the joy of being at Southwest Airlines was the people and just being around a culture that embraced, everybody as individuals and it allowed us as leaders to really lead and be coaches. So did everything, moved around everywhere, and took the family all kinds of places all over the country. Ended up back in Texas back in I think '96 or so. So wonderful, wonderful career, opportunity for a wonderful career, and so blessed. Met a lot of great people, a lot of great leaders. And a couple years back, I decided it was time to do something different, and I fell in love with the strengths program, the Clifton Strengths program, just because of what it does. And Marcel, we've done it, with you as well. So, and got certified as a Gallup coach, and I've just been doing that. And I'd say, the last several months, obviously, has been a little bit unique, to say the least. So, not doing a lot of coaching out there, but some one-on-ones and just enjoying life.
So you've had an incredible journey with Southwest. So what would you tell, or what should students do to prepare for a career at Southwest?
Well, Southwest, preparing for Southwest, one is there's a lot of different areas at the airline you can work. There's technical, there's, analytical, there's people. But the main thing about Southwest, to go to work at Southwest, is you've got to care about your coworker. You got to care about each other. It's a team environment, no matter if you're down in accounting, whether you're in the in-flight world. But preparing for a Southwest Airlines journey, I think is important to understand that the people part of that is critical. And so knowing who you're working with, knowing your coworkers, those kind of things are important. Understanding that the airline is a service industry, and so preparing as a young adult, when everyone else is off on Christmas, the airline business is still flying. So there's a lot of differences when you're working at the airlines. They never shut down because they're always there for the passengers, or at Southwest we call them the customers. So if I were to prepare a young adult for a journey at Southwest, I would say one is go in with an open mind. Don't go in and say, hey, I'm going to be this, this, and this, and that's it, because you'd be surprised how much is involved running an airline. At Southwest Airlines especially, because they involve the people, and there's so many ways to move up and I think achieve goals that you want to set.
So along with like being working well with your coworkers, what are some important skills that students be developing right now?
Well, I think some of the skills right now, and it's an interesting time, obviously, with everything that's going on. I was speaking with someone last week, and I think what is important in this time for students and for young adults trying to figure out where they're going and the path they're going, take the time right now in the journey to understand really who you are. I'm just, if Southwest is your path, I think it's just an amazing company to go for. But I say this for all young adults, is right now with so much changing, you may think you want to go do something, and who knows, with what's going on in the world, that may totally be a 180 for you. So uh, I'm highly recommending right now that people focus on who they are, what their passions are, what they love to do, and then start looking at what that vision, what that future could be based on what it is in your heart and your mind that drives you.
I love that, Mike, and I just love that idea of like following your passion. I'm sure like many people they want to follow their passion, but they are already in the workforce, and it's hard for them to do the switch, right? So if you're a student still, you have that I guess you're lucky to be starting your career, so you can choose where you want to go, right? With that passion, and follow a career and do like have a career, start a career where you can show your love for what you do. One of the questions that we have right now, and you kind of like mentioned a little bit about this, is how can students navigate the job search or start their career or let's look for an internship during this crazy times with COVID-19?
That, honestly, on that one, I think right now there's so much uncertainty. So the aspect of where your careers are going to go and the journeys you're going to go right now, I wish, from where I said I could see you guys. There's so much. You're going to be good to go this way and go that way in your direction. Um, I think right now for the students, and what you have to do is just tap into really what it is, what you see in your future, what it is. I like I joked earlier with Michelle about what do you want to be when you grow up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm almost 62. So there's a way that you should in these stages of your life look at what are those next steps. And maybe right now with COVID and everything else, if we were doing this a year ago, I think I would have felt comfortable saying, hey, I think, I've been in the corporate world long enough. You guys do this, and this. But everything has changed, the environment and everything. So I think for the excitement of where the future will go and where it's possibly going to take our young adults is you got to do what you love to do. You've got, it's funny, you say your passion, follow your strengths, because your strengths are your passion. If you love to talk, you love to communicate, pick the field where you can go out and make a difference. In today's environment, especially, those in the communication fields can make a big impact. So I think I just say, what is it you want to do? Where is it you want to go? Um, I think people change around enough now, which is a good thing. Back in the old days, in my time, we didn't move around a lot. You just kind of endured and you accepted. And what I love is that the youth today, they'll move around. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. And so they're picking and they're finding and they're choosing. Now, from the college student, right now that involves, what courses do you want to take? What curriculum do you want to go and so forth. So uh, I don't really have a solid answer for you guys other than for me, what I've been suggesting to people now, and especially in light of some uncertainty, is know who you are. Really know who you are when all this comes out, and normal, whatever that looks like again, is to be. Because man, if you know really what you want and who you are and where your strengths are, you're really gonna knock it out of the park.
I really love that you talk about learning to find yourself. I think that's definitely also a big thing during these times. And for like the class interview question though, how can students answer what is your biggest strength or weakness?
Well, there's a few things I think we should do. Is one is understand what a true weakness is, and I guess again because I now understand our strengths as individuals a lot more. I don't think I would probably ask that question if I were back interviewing 10 years ago. What's your greatest strength and weakness? Honestly, what I think I would ask now is, what do you really love to do? And it doesn't, I'm not talking hobbies. Now, we're interviewing in a job profession. So, but what is it that really where you don't mind staying past the hours and getting up early and Saturdays? Hey, if you're free, you'll come work. So I think what we should do is be able to say, this is what gets me up and drives me and makes me want to do what I do. It's either meeting people, it's solving problems, it's looking at processes, it's community activism, whatever that is. And so if the recruiter said, what's your greatest strength and weakness? The weakness, I would say, is just understand really what you don't like to do much. You don't do much at all, and so if it's if it's data driven and you don't like to crunch numbers and you're interviewing for an accounting job, you're probably in the wrong job. You may be okay at first, but eventually it's not going to sink. So know what you're interviewing for, because number one, they're going to ask what's your greatest strength and weakness, not just as a human being, although they'll want to know, but they're also going to know how do you bring your most value to the team and what's your greatest liability. And liability is not a negative thing. It's like, where do we need to fill that with someone else who has that strength as well? So if I'm not a great communicator, but I can plan, Marcelo's a great communicator, you're great at analytics, together we all can make a great team. So from the interview standpoint, y'all, I think it's important to know really what it is, you're trying to achieve in the interview or what you're interviewing for. And then if they come up with that question, your strengths and weaknesses, just be ready to say what it is you are passionate about. And then if they say, and then, as far as a weakness, I can tell you, for me, I would have told someone I don't like stand up in front of 10,000 people. Now I never knew I'd be leading, 12,000 people, but there's just, things you can do that you love to do and things you just would rather not do. I hope that helps.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Yeah, it helps a lot, indeed. Like, and I love that what you said about knowing your strengths and knowing your weakness. Because if you don't know them, you don't know who you are. And then we go back to that, to what you were saying earlier, which is the first part of everything. Know who you are. We have a lot of people like saying in the like you go to LinkedIn and you see a lot of posts like people saying like follow your passion and people saying follow what brings you money and what like it's gonna create you a good career and you're gonna learn how to do that. You're gonna create passion for that. So there's a lot of things and there are a lot of college students asking what career they want to go into because they don't know yet, right? A lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores and a lot of seniors really like they're ending their school and they don't know what to do. What would you say, Mike, to those students that don't have an answer, that don't know what to do right now?
Well, I think that may be a majority of our young adults, honestly, just trying to figure out, Marcel, I've got 5 children. My youngest is going to turn 21 here in a few months. And, there's a lot of what it is we should do. What do we do next? What in school? Where are we gonna go? There's that decision you make about, is it money or is it happiness? Well, if it's money, I can be rich enough to be happy, and so you start finding ways to justify, I'll chase the money. And if you're passionate about what you're doing, that money probably will follow. There's a lot of ways to make money, but there's a lot of ways to get in jobs that it doesn't matter what you're making, you're going to be miserable. And I think if I were to look back and just say in retrospect, it's very important, I think, for people to try and get in the environment, in the profession, in the industry they love, and then go from there and perfect what it is you want to do. there's money all over. There's money in all the industries. Of course, not not broadly speaking. But realistically, if someone in their heart really wants to make a strong living, if they take what they're best at, they will be able to do that. If you go and chase, again, these are just my thoughts, but if you go and chase money without the skill set or the desire to do it, you're going to find that one day that money means nothing, because you really, it's just a car and a house. What happiness does that bring? And I'll just close with that, because I'm not naive to think that at my point in life, it may be a little bit easier for a young adult to say, well, yeah, it's good for you to say, look, you're already done kind of with your career. But I just caution that it doesn't matter what age, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, pick what it is that you really love and can make a difference, and brings you happiness. And everything else will fall into place, I promise.
I love that. I love that. I love that when you follow your passion, you follow and you were genuine about doing so, everything else will fall into place. Thanks for the promise. Thank you so much for that. And just to wrap this up, you've got a lot of knowledge, and we already, myself and I bet Michelle too, we have learned a lot with you, and everybody who's watching this is learning a lot, I'm sure. Just to wrap this up, what what are some things that you feel like that you didn't mention that you feel like you should mention that whoever is watching this should know, whoever college student, whoever young adult which is watching this right now, what else they should know, Mike, about their career, about their life, what they should do now to prepare to have a successful career in the future.
Well, that's a big question. What I would say, I would leave people with is that once we find as a country, once we find as an industry, whatever it is that once normal returns back, then I think we should be ready to just go out and just like I said earlier, knock it out of the park. So for the young adults right now who are wondering what we're doing, there's a lot of uncertainty, y'all, and I don't want to downplay that. Someone the other day was mentioning, oh, it'll all get better soon, and it'll all be just like, no, it won't. But we have the choice of choices, and so the choices we make, whatever decisions we make, can affect exactly where we're going to go in our future. So right now, I really encourage people to just know who you are. Take a second to take a deep breath. Take advantage of what could be just some of the worst times in our history, and just reflect on who you are, where your passion is, where your heart is. Because right now there's so much confusion, there's so much uncertainty. For my 2 cents is know really who you are, what you want, and how you're going to really go out there and just nail it. So when this starts to settle and all this starts to become the new norm, you guys are out there leading the way. That's just my 2 cents.
That's awesome. Those are big 2 cents, Mike.
Well,
Those are
thank
big two
you.
cents. But yeah, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sure whoever's watching this right now is enjoying those answers, and this tips might be a game changer for me and for other students out there looking to get some career advice as well. So thank you so much, Mike, for being with us today, and we will keep in touch.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the invite. Y'all take care.
Take care. Bye bye.